I don't want that thing. That's some modern thing that came from IKEA. Yeah, that's nothing. That doesn't look like anything old.
Ooh. I said, ooh.
Ooh, that rather takes my breath away.
There's an old curiosity shop. Every once in a while I go by there for the fond recollections that lie there in that old curiosity shop.
Good morning, good folk, and welcome back to the front porch of the 1925 bungalow. I'm Scott. Today we've got a thrift haul, and once again, you are going to be wowed. I can't believe it, some of the things that I was fortunate enough to find at local thrift stores here in my South Jersey, Philadelphia, Delaware Valley area. But before we begin, as usual, today's cup of coffee is brought to you by...
A cup of coffee, a sandwich, and you, a cozy corner, a table for two.
Well, it's brought to you by, I don't know, because I can hardly see the mark on the bottom. But we know it's Lusterware, and we can almost be 90% certain that this comes from Japan, Germany, Czechoslovakia, or, now what's the other one there? Doggone it, see, I went and forgot. Who did all of the Lusterware? Germany, Japan, Czechoslovakia. There's one other country I'm thinking of, and I can't come up with it. Anyway, I think you've seen this once before. It's a great example of Lusterware. Those are typical colors that you would see on Lusterware. I like the fact that it's just sort of, well, very abstract, almost deco, geometric. I mean, it doesn't have ponds and boats and birds and grapes and cables. I like it. But let's put it down and really show you what I would like to show you today. I found a nice glass bake refrigerator dish, one I haven't seen before, with this decoration here on the bottom. It's got that little knob top that disappears after this, the Depression era. That's early, that knob. It's in great condition. Glass bake made by McKee to compete with Pyrex. This will go back to the 1930s, and that yellow tint is not nicotine or grease. That's the color of the glass. I think this also came from a thrift store. Yes, it did. It was only a couple of dollars. And it's beautiful green glass. This will come back at Christmas time. Isn't that lovely? 30s or 40s. This came from the thrift shop. That's a piece of carnival glass. And everybody knows that you look at the base color, so we would say this is purple, amethyst or purple. And it's a bonbon dish. I think this was a shape that Fenton did. I'd have to go and look up in my books to remember. But, carnival glass was one of the first types of glass I was able to identify when I was a kid. My father's parents had a big old oak china closet with the claw feet in the corner behind the table where they ate. And that china closet was my grandmother's pride and joy. And even when I was little, I could stand there and look in, and it was just filled with things, layers of things. And she would take out a couple pieces of carnival glass that were her mother's, that my great-grandmother had gotten as an adult in the 1920s, 30s. And so I have my great-grandmother's carnival glass in there somewhere, and this bonbon dish is one of them. Very common, this particular dish. You'll see that a lot. This came from the thrift shop as well. Look at that color. Now, there was only one. That is a wonderful again, when we get into glass this color, it seems as though the elegant companies got there first with the colored glass, and then Hocking and Jeanette and McKee and all those companies came a little bit later with what's typically the inexpensive depression glass that was given away. But this is a really nice candlestick. There's wax on it. And I'm going to keep looking and see. Hopefully another one will turn up, but even if it doesn't, that's going in my collection of 1920s, 30s era glass. That's a good one. Haven't looked it up, so maker unknown. For the desk, ink, put your pens there, probably an inkwell sat there, no big deal on that, but I wasn't going to leave it behind. This one, I'm sure I already showed this one to you, but when I went back a few days later, lo and behold, there was another one. This one has a different pattern. It's missing a lot of its paper on the top, but again, 1930s. Both of these have mirrors in them. How many of you as a child would sneak into your mother's room and open up a little jewelry box like this and sort through all of the jewels? You know you weren't supposed to be in there. Our fathers had these too on tops of their dressers. Ouch. They did indeed, and those are going to be for sale. I found another one of these. Chase made them, Kensington made them, Keystone made them, probably Farber Brothers made them, and this was something you would see in the 30s into the 40s. This. And now this one is signed. I believe this one is Keystone. And this is all machined here. Very deco for the table to serve at parties, right? And they're usually not marked. All the ones I have found, they're always marked on the center tray, and this one is marked Keystone back here, which I won't try to show you, but I've sold these in the past. Love them. This is probably the fourth one that I have been able to find. This came from a thrift shop as well, and this was for serving, you could serve tea on it, or cocktails. And it's a wooden frame with glass, and then this is an old one. This will go back to the 20s, and we have wooden handles here instead of Bakelite. Didn't clean the metal up at all. The old green felt on the back, and then look at this beautiful sort of Asian silk. Sometimes it's paper. But here we have, and I believe this is probably original to this. Probably would be for serving tea or coffee. But look at that Asian silk, and it's perfectly, there are a few stains. Sometimes tea or coffee will spill on this and it'll get underneath of the glass. And that's done that here, and it's stained it just a little tiny bit, but not much. So you can see the whole thing. And sometimes this would be on a hostess tray that the hostess could wheel out into wherever she wants to serve her tea. But this is a nice one, a very nice one, and that will be for sale coming up at some point as well. All of this will be for sale at some point. Look at this. That came from a thrift shop, and I walked right by it 4 or 5 times. It had been in that thrift shop for probably a month, and I ignored it. I don't want that thing. That's some modern thing that came from IKEA. Yeah, that's nothing. That doesn't look like anything old. I mean, it doesn't even look like it has uranium in it. It's just some piece of modern green glass. I don't want to mess with that. I almost had detached. I finally picked it up and said, ooh. I said, ooh.
Ooh, that rather takes my breath away.
It says on the inside, I've never seen this. Well, let me read it to you and then I'll show it to you. Tough glass, that's spelled T-U-F-G-L-A-S. Not S-S, not F-F. T-U-F-G-L-A-S. Tough glass, and then it says patent applied for, made in the USA. Well, they don't do that anymore. That has to be old. I don't know, it's so hard to get you, but anyway, it's down in there. You can see it this way, but it's upside down, it's reversed. It was difficult finding out any information about Tough Glass. They weren't in business for long. It looks like they existed from about 1925 to about 1932. So, looks like a casualty of the Depression. It's got uranium in it, and it will glow beautifully under a black light, but the green in this is so different from the typical Depression green. We're going to look at that again in a minute. This is a much lighter colored green, and it's got this real Swedish modern look to it. I don't know if this just wasn't very popular with Granny. I mean, this really does not look like what would typically be in a kitchen of that era. So, not really sure if sales were bad and then the Depression just put an end to it. It's in excellent condition. And tell me your experience with Tough Glass. I thought I knew it all. No, I don't think I know it all. But I had never come across that name in all these years of Depression glass. I'm sure it's in my books, but I've just ignored it because it's something that I never heard of, never thought I would ever see. It's wonderful. Okay, let's put that right there. I was shocked when I found that. This came from an antique store and it wasn't very expensive. I love this color blue. I don't know, haven't had a chance. Have not had a chance. Is it Westmoreland? It's not really a English hobnail. This was made in a mold. So is this sort of like an imperial glass or a Westmoreland glass? It's 1930, late 30s, late 20s, early 30s candy dish, I guess. It's beautiful. So says I. Now 2 of these, but love it, with the deco tulips on the top. Get it straight there, okay. Jars for the kitchen. Sometimes they're grease jars. These might be the grease jar, drippings jar size, but they might have also been, they're in my kitchen glass books as well. So you've seen these before. That's a pretty popular 19. Is this Hawking? I don't remember. A pink mayonnaise set. Look at that one. Probably not a mayonnaise. They're usually a compote with an underplate. This is just for sauce, some type of sauce, jelly, and that's the glass. This is how they served it. I know it looks weird, but that's old. Yeah, you can just collect these. You can find hundreds of them in every color you can possibly think of. A wonderful Orlik porcelain or ceramic inkwell set. Could be German, could be French. I believe I saw that Orlik was a German company, but then I also saw that some of it was made in Limoges, France. So Orlik sounds like a German company, but they might have had some of their products actually made in France. And I'll turn it this way for that you can see it has its matching pen, which has been with it all of this time. Probably not any older than the first 20 years of the 20th century. I'd say 1900 to 1920. I'm not an expert. This is a guess on my part, but I don't believe it's Victorian. There's the, let's see. Patrick the trusty huckster helped me with the back stamp on this. There it is. And it's nice to see that when we open, we've got one original insert. This one is missing. Not a big deal, but we do have the one which will pop right out of there. Okay. Then we have this little person here doing a little dance, a little minuet, and it matches on the pen. Yeah. So this is cute, and it's in excellent condition. It will be for sale. This, I think, is called the Cambridge Keyhole, I think. And that's a tidbit, a center handle, really center handle tray. In green glass, beautiful. It just glows out here in this morning sunlight. It's about 8:15, maybe 8:30. Gonna try to get this video over with so I can hop in the truck and be at the thrift shop at 5 of 9. Pink depression glass pitcher. Wonderful. This was a thrift shop. I bought this for my own collection because you know I collect these 1920s candy jars. That one I'll keep because somebody was really after this candy and they chipped up the inside rim. That's a pretty good inside rim chip. Outside rim is perfect. Inside rim, we've got those chips. And with the clear glass, you do kind of see it through there. See? Yeah, so I'll put that in my collection. I don't want to pass that on to anybody. These came from the Goodwill, not too far from me. I've got 4 pink sherbet cups. I flipped out when I walked in and saw these. I've seen these in green. I don't know who made them. I don't know who the manufacturer was. They're unmarked, but they're really pretty. 1930s pink sherbet cups. 4 of those. A pink depression glass bowl, and it is wheel cut. Would have to do a lot of research to try to figure out exactly who made that. That's sort of a lattice pattern there on the wheel cut. So a nice little serving bowl, really. Did I say center bowl? I guess probably more of a serving bowl. I shall get out my EAPG and look this up. Maybe you know. Look at those hearts inside. It's unmarked. It's not cut, but it is pressed. And it's a pattern that I don't normally see. And when I find unusual patterns of EAPG, I do buy them. It is beautifully done. See it sparkle? And I've got the shade down. So we have filtered light coming in, because if the shade were up, boy, it would be so bright in here. You wouldn't be able to see me at all. And I want you to see me. That is beautiful. What's the pattern? I gotta go look, try to see if I can find it. I'm not finished. And I have a absolutely fantastic lamp to show you at the very end of this video. You're gonna flip. So hold on to your platform rockers. These 2 Goofus glass plates were taped together. I knew what the top one looked like. The bottom one, I only knew what it looked like from that side. I bought them anyway. Very run-of-the-mill, but excellent shape for Goofus glass. We've talked about Goofus glass before, so I won't rattle on about it now. Cheap cheap glass. 1910, something like that, in that era, 1912. So the top plate there, great condition on that. What a surprise! When I got it home and took off the tape and found the plate underneath, much harder to find Goofus glass in 3 colors, red and gold, all day long. Now there were a few other colors which are rare. Common, not as easy to find. Look at that one. That's all original. Now hold it still. You say, yeah, but some of the paint is chipping off. Hey, you Goofus glass collectors know that would be considered excellent condition, because the paint always chips off of these Goofus glass pieces. But finding one with silver, gold, and red, wow. Does that mean value? Not much. Not a whole lot of collectors of it, but it's not easy to find. So you never want to strip this paint off. There's already not a whole lot of value to Goofus glass, but you take the paint off, you take it and use it and just whoosh out into the street. Don't do that. Children, if you're watching. What else was I going to say? Oh, and don't try to touch up the paint. It doesn't work. I have never seen anyone successfully try to back paint these. You'll see it from the front. Just leave it alone. Goofus glass people are used to the chippy. And I've got to get to the store, to the garden center. You don't hear a lot of chirping because my feeder ran out of seed, and I'm getting dirty looks from the squirrel and the blue jay right now. They are not happy with me. Okay. I also, let's just do, well, yes, I paid $10 for that at the Goodwill. $10 for a Black Panther mid-century lamp. And yes, I paid $10 for that one. 2 of them. 2 of them. Look at that. They're in excellent condition. You bet I'll ship them. A matching pair. Somebody with just the right mid-century interior will blow their bouffant when they see these. Okay, now let me show you a lamp. I will tell you, and I am delighted to tell you, that I was in this store, which was, again, Something Treasures, had some antiques, but not all. And I came around the corner, saw this lamp. I said, that's beautiful, that's quality. It gives me a 1930s American pottery feel. I don't collect 1930s American pottery. I'm not very good at it. But you develop an eye over time. So I think that might be something. The tag said ceramic lamp, something like that. $35. I said, it's got to be worth $35. And I studied it for a minute, and I said, I think I'll buy it. And I'm so glad I did. I had no idea until my live sale, and I had help from several folks, including Adam, I think Bick Spiderbeck, Urban Ghost Hunter, and maybe Wordsmith. You guys know who you are. I can't remember now. But I had a lot of help during, I wasn't selling it. It was during a show and tell at the end of the live sale. And I said, I think I got a good lamp. And they all jumped in and they said, you do. It's Roseville. It dates from, I think Tuscany was introduced in 1927, something like that. So it's a lamp that was made by Roseville that's going to date from the late 20s, 1927, 28. into the early 30s. Don't know how long it was in production, and it is a lamp. They produced it as a vase, but they also produced it in the factory as a lamp. Now I'm cringing. You know what I'm cringing at? I have a thing about antique lamps with new sockets. That socket is coming off. It will have a nice old reproduction silk cord put on it, but that's the original base. No mark anywhere to tell you anything, but look at that beautiful glaze. Isn't that stunning? I have not decided yet whether I will be using a harp or some type of a clip-on shade, but I will show you. This shade is okay, not quite the right size, but this is an Art Deco parchment shade from the 1930s. It is a clip-on. This shade right here is valuable because, can you imagine cardboard parchment shade from about the same era as this lamp? These just don't survive, and it's a rare find on its own. So what I'd like to do is have maybe a clip-on rather than a harp, and something like this is what would look pretty good on this style lamp. I'm not saying that I'm going to use that shade. I'm saying something like it. This shade might be a little too busy. I might want a plain parchment shade, not to take away from that beautiful, beautiful lamp. So I really appreciate those who helped me identify it. And I haven't decided yet what I'm going to do with it. It has a nice little value to it, probably somewhere between it's probably somewhere between $200 to $400, maybe $400 at the very top. In this market, which Roseville is depressed, of course, and has been for a while, it might be closer to $200, but it's just so pretty. I'd love to try to find somewhere in my home to use it. I haven't decided yet, but I was really excited when I found out, and I was happy anyway, even if it, you know, didn't turn out to be anything fantastic. It's just a beautiful lamp from the late 20s, and so Roseville Tuscany, and I forget what the name of I think Tuscany might be the mold or the shape, and then there's another name for the glaze. I think I covered everything here. I'd love your help on some of this glass, which I haven't had time. Is that Imperial or who knows what? What did you think of the tough glass? What did you think of that? Good heavens! How about that EAPG and that tri-colored piece of Goofus? I've got to sit back and take a sip. It is so much fun to be able to do this and share it with you here on the front porch. I thank you for spending time with me. And now I'm going to continue to get my day going. I got to cut the grass today, and it's going to get up into the mid-80s, but we don't have any humidity today, so it won't be bad. Thanks for watching. What was your favorite? What do you think about that lamp? Oh my goodness. Okay, now you're going to ask me, but when are you going to sell it? How do we know? Well, again, just subscribe to the channel, watch the videos. When I put things in the eBay store, and I know there's nothing in the store right now, I know that, but I usually do a video letting you know what's coming up in the eBay store. But you can subscribe to the eBay store and you'll get a notice. Yeah, so if any of this goes in the eBay store and you are a subscriber to it, you'll get a little notice that says, look what's new in the store, right? Now again, I know there's nothing in it right now, but having moved into this new house and summertime, I'm still balancing live sale and eBay as I go into the fall, I'm going to have some new announcements about exactly how I'm going to continue to manage the eBay store and keep it running and get more items in it on a regular basis. So there goes one of my neighbors walking a dog. Yeah, so I know some of you are a little frustrated because you say, well, I don't like live sales and I don't do live sales. And I understand that, and that's fine. I do really need to balance the eBay store and the live sales, and I'm working on it. Okay, so that's how you can know. The other way you can know is the live sales are twice a month, the first and the third Monday, and that second Monday is another live sale that I do with David called Two Chaps, and they're on my channel. You can subscribe and hit the bell and you'll be able to see those live sales. Sometimes I do a live sale preview and I let you know, but I can't promise that I'll always get that done. So anyway, and I'm always out shopping, so who knows. Well, thanks again for watching and listening to me ramble on. We'll see you next time. I gotta hit the pike. Okay, that's it. Don't forget to wait for the cat. And so long for now.